Tim Knight here, and it is time for charts, and we've got another fantastic day going. It is just a sea of red right now. Of course, everybody else is saying, oh, well, the only reason it's down is because people are selling gold and Bitcoin and stocks to buy SpaceX. Seriously? I mean, just think about it from a simple arithmetic standpoint. They're offering about $75 billion in stock. Liquidating $75 billion in various gold, Bitcoin, and equities would be like how many thousandths of a percent of the, it's absurd. It's absurd, but they'll say stuff like that just to placate the masses. And I saw Tom Lee on CNBC where he's featured about every 12 seconds saying the market's getting jitters. And I don't think it's jitters going on. It's just people are starting to realize maybe I'd rather have cash than this like incredibly overvalued equities right now. It's not jitters. It's just the truth. So yeah, we're not here to look at jitters. We're here to look at charts. And let's jump in because it's a really good day. It's a very exciting week. And we're going to start off with TLT, bonds, which is boring and slow and moves really in a somniferous fashion, but it's my biggest position. November, $86 puts in great quantity. And it's down 0.26%, and I'll take it. Today, of course, was the inflation data come out of the CPI. The government produces it. The government really needs it to be not scary and not shocking. And amazingly, the government offered the numbers up, and they matched every single data point precisely to the 0.1% granularity. How about that? It's kind of like telling students they can grade their own papers, you know. I got an A, Mom. Ha! So yeah, government gave itself an A. Ostensibly, we're supposed to believe inflation's quite low. And look at your bills. Look at the groceries. They invented the word groceries, I heard, a year or two ago. So now we have the word groceries. So you look at your grocery bill and utility bill, anything, and you'll see that it's not 2% or 3%. It's more like a substantial double-digit figure. Or not. You can just listen to the government says, and there you go. Some people can't be saved. But inflation is a little higher than zero. And bonds, which are way more cognizant of the truth sooner than equities are, and they're less prone to bluster and nonsense, tend to wake up, and they are tiptoeing their way lower. And yeah, I just keep buying more puts. So it's there we have it. TLT sinking a little bit. NQ is down hundreds and hundreds of points, which I like a lot. And you know, the big shift happened, of course, last Friday. And it's we had our break up here. So beforehand, until here, it was just obediently hanging on to this trend line. But as I've mentioned, it started to, by a penny or two, just kind of chip away at that. Thursday came and it was a clear break. That was a big day, but nobody talked about it because it wasn't a very big move. And then we plunged on Friday, and naturally all the jitterbugs out there came out and said, "No, everything's fine. Just buy the dip like you have done for the past 18 years." And so we rallied on Monday, and we rallied on Tuesday for a while, and then it weakened. And then today, we're trading at this moment well below where we were on Friday. And nothing's changed. The AI narrative is still accepted. There's been no this shocking earnings announcement. There's been no declaration that, oh, the entire Stargate project's been canceled. Nothing like that. It's just jitters, right? When the bad news does start to flow, and it will be a tidal wave once it finally comes, then you'll see some incredible selling. I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be really cool. Who knows when it'll be here? They're going to stave it off as long as possible, but these are the first little hiccups, the first brown shoots, if you will, which are my bag. SMH, the semiconductor index, is behaving itself beautifully. across the board, what was support is now resistance. That's just the way it is across the board. Diamonds finally broke today, as we'll see in a moment. But that trend line is universally busted now on everything worth mentioning until, well, looking at this week. So here's the diamonds. Friday, yes, the Dow fell a lot, but it did not break the trend line. And I said it in that same emphatic fashion. And then Monday, it didn't break the trend line. Tuesday, broke it, but closed above it. So some damage was done. And then today it's like, I give up. And it opened below it, and we're at the lows of the day right now. So that's pretty cool too. So we're basically back to where we were on whatever that day is. I can never find out where they put it on the screen. Back here, whatever that is. So yeah, righteous, yeah. EEM, the emerging markets, those are also down almost 2%. Likewise, below the trend line and well below this gap here. And the first feeble level of support being offered up is this gap down here. But as I saw, I was surprised Meta, I'm not showing it here today, but Meta, no, actually I showed it later on. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. Apropos of nothing, I'll mention that we just came out with a new SpaceX video. My last SpaceX video had like 34,000 views, yay. And so it's like, I said over the weekend, let's do another one. And so this one is focused on dates, release dates, quarterly earnings. When does the stock become more and more available and therefore increase the supply and probably diminish the price? So we just released it an hour or two ago, and check it out. As far as semiconductors go, this has been kind of a staple of my short portfolio, and these continue to behave themselves nicely. Here's AMD down. It's always down about 5 to 6%. That seems to be like the comfortable range to sort of like burn this thing up, erode the price away slowly. So that's where it is right now. And that's, to me, the kind of a sensible target in the short term. Micron, MU, as I mentioned yesterday, it was so strong before the open that I would have gotten stopped out had I not gone in and changed the stop to a little looser, more sensible, and it survived the day. And it's a good thing too, because that continues to slip again between 5 and 6%. It was like federally approved dip for the day. UMC, another short here, down. This is like creepy. It's all 5.38%, like across the board. Is there a law or something? So yeah, they're all down almost precisely the same amount, like to the 100th of a percentage point. Other high tech shorts I got going. ST Microelectronics, that's catchy. STM down 4.25%. STX, which is Seagate Technology, is down 4.08%. Once again, we've got a trend line that until last week was holding up nicely. Post, it's not Liberation Day, that was last year. What was the deal? I guess it was the first of like 78 declarations that we've won the war. They're getting a little old, but people in diminishing numbers still keep believing the announcements about this or that. So I suppose that's when the whole Iran fear thing kind of like pooped out and people started buying stocks again. But you know, as mysterious as that was, it's equally mysterious that we've suddenly broken the uptrend. I guess people are satisfied with like 800% profits in 2 months. So there's some selling going on, and it's sort of feeding on itself. WDC, another short here, down 5.29%. There we are again. I talked about the chart-friendly market yesterday. This is a great example. Here's a gap right there. Beautiful. Here's a trend line failure right there. Bang, 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 and now cleanly below it. And so I was mentioning to the chaps this morning when I was on that trading should be boring. Boring is good. So if my day is just like kind of going around and checking out stops and tightening up stops here and there, and because when there's tumult, you know, when let's say I got stopped out of a dozen positions and decided to re-enter them for whatever reason, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because I have charts all around me with the intraday information just spread out. I got screens galore. I have to update them in my spreadsheet. I have to update them in slope charts. And I have to update the stops in my brokerage. It's a lot of tedious secretarial work, a lot of administrative work. I'd rather just let it sit. And that's been what this week has been like, which is nice. Just tending the garden, pulling the weeds. Now, it's funny, bear though I am, I really missed the boat on precious metals because I've been saying for weeks now, they're going down, they're going down, they're going down. I haven't done anything about it. I didn't buy dust, which was my long idea. I didn't short gold. I didn't short silver. The only precious metals thing I've done at all, weirdly, was I went long palladium on Monday night, sold it yesterday morning for a profit, and that was it. So I've let the precious metals bear boat sail away because I've been saying this whole time it's going down, and it just keeps going down hard. Look at this, is amazing. And quick anecdote, I write a lot. I've written dozens of books, and I've written like 50,000 posts on Slope of Hope. And a fellow came along, nice guy, I like him, I'm not trying to diss the guy, but I know human nature. And he was having great success with his precious metals Substack. And he was getting subscriptions by the bushel. And it was the hottest, fastest growing finance newsletter on Substack. And I was a little jealous because, Slope, it's kind of a bearish website, so it's not that easy to get subscribers, but he was just raking it in. And I came this close to telling him, as a friend, don't get used to this, because I've seen this before. I saw it myself in 2008. Probably something's going to turn here. And I'm not privy to his subscription numbers, but I've got a feeling that his subscribers are getting more and more irked and bothered at the ceaseless reassurances that, well, it'll turn around real soon now, and it just keeps falling. And I don't think it's done falling. My target for gold short term has been about 4,000. Well, we're getting there. We're getting there fast. So yeah, GLD is just plunging. Silver is also falling to pieces. I see no reason to buy them for a while. The miners, GDX, down almost 5%. So yeah, it is just nasty in precious metals land. So shame on me. I hope some of you bought dust or something like that, because I didn't do anything about that. It's been a great trade. Precious metals are in trouble, and I think will continue to be in trouble. Corning, I'm back to shorts now for some reason. Anyway, yeah, here's some other odds and ends. Some short Corning, another good day down over 4%. Here's a new one, H&R Block. My brother used to be their president, believe it or not. But I wrote him early this week and said, sell your HRB, because I think it's going down. So far, it's tiptoeing down. Meta, as I said, is down again, hard, about $20. I'm continuing to be short that. And, I talked for even last year, months and months ago, about how I fundamentally believe Meta's heading for the dumper, because I saw what happened, and I saw what goes on inside. And it was nothing to do with charts. It's just like, I get it. These guys are doomed. And so that's been the basis of that trade. So far, so good. Royal Caribbean, RCL, down 5.72%. ALB, you get the idea. I'm short a lot of stuff and they're all down. ALB is down 3.25%. Caterpillar, CAT, which is weirdly an AI play, down, good heavens, about $60. I'll take that, yay. That's terrific. GE, which GE Aerospace, down 3.23%. A lot of red, lots and lots of red. Lennar, I've got puts on. It's down about 3.5%. I think they have earnings this afternoon. These are January puts, so I'm not that worried about what's going to happen in the next few minutes. But I think that is coming out. And another one I got a bushel of puts on is Carvana, CVNA, which is down about 4%. And a couple of new ones for you, healthcare related. Just got bearish positions on these today. United Healthcare, UNH, and Humana, HUM. And those lines up there are my stop losses. So a couple of new ideas. So all in all, my God, I'm going to actually finish on time today, heavens. All in all, things are looking really good. The SpaceX thing looms large. And I think SpaceX, is going to suck all the oxygen out of the room on Friday. And I'll just say it again, unless they just knock it out of the park, not only going to see people freak out, but what you won't see is all that money that ostensibly was sold to buy SpaceX flow right back into all these other tech stocks and reverse everything. So under the right circumstances, Friday could be a really, really down day. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having fun with this market. And hey, just one day to go and then the big day's here. So that'll be really exciting. I'll see you for both. Bye-bye.